What's going on, Authentic Collective? Coming in here with a controversial video. You know it is because you saw the title. I didn't put the words up there. At the end of the day, I really don't think it should matter considering the fact that many of us listen to groups like NWA. But, social media, I don't want to get blocked and all that other ish. And so here I am, house niggas and film niggas. Let's talk about it. And you might be like, wait a minute. August, I saw your post in the community earlier. You said that you were going to talk about this whole theory of why we don't let our light shine because of those that we are attempting to protect. And so for those of you that aren't in the community and you happen to be watching through YouTube, let me kind of just bring you up to speed so you know what in the world we're talking about. I put this post up in the group. And it says, have you considered the fact you subconsciously block your superpower because those you care about may feel inferior? And trust me, this is going to relate to house niggas and field niggas, okay? But anyway, somebody in the community was really, hey, how you doing, Miss Mary? Somebody in the community was willing to be very open and honest and said that they've been laying low. They hadn't been in the community, got stuff to do, but they said that they've been working through this. They can't even say right now, but they still do it sometimes, hold back their superpowers. He said they had to make some serious life-altering choices in order to allow themselves more room not to care about how others feel regarding their superpowers. And so that's one of my biggest issues, right? One of my biggest issues is that many of us aren't really dealing with this issue. We're trying to use mental muscle to push beyond this issue. And we don't realize that it's jacking up everything in our life, our weight, our health, what kind of diseases we have, how much money we're able to make, and so on and so forth. And so my response said that this is some real talk. I always love the person's honesty. It says most of us do it to some degree, and it doesn't always have to be rooted in major issues, okay? Something as simple as the fear of your success will allow you to do things that those around you can't afford to do, could linger deep into your subconscious. And so we got to go deeper, right? We've got to go deeper. If it's one thing that I know, it's never the most obvious thing that blocks us. We'll be like, oh, it ain't that big deal. I already know what it is. My daddy abandoned me, and that's why, I have an issue in relationships with men. And you think that that's all that it is. And it's always so much more. It's always so much deeper when it comes to doing the inner work. And so when you talk to some Black people that's really woke, really conscious, and I'm not saying that sarcastically, I mean like they really, really are, they will talk to you about post-traumatic slave syndrome, right? They'll talk about what slavery did to us, what kind of a number it did to us. But have we ever thought about this house nigga, field nigga thing? I mean, like, seriously. And I'm not going to get all deep into it, but what was the difference between the two? One was shining and the other one was not. One wore better clothes and the other one was raggedier. This is part of that disparity where we have this huge division. And I hate to say it, some of you all may think it's far-fetched and I'm going somewhere where this doesn't belong. But when you think about it with voting, at the end of the day, that's really all voting ends up becoming. Because the people that believe they're Republicans think that they have a different mindset from the people that are Democrats, and that this big old argument of if you don't vote the way I want you to vote, then, I'm not messing with you no more. You got people that are literally unfriending folks and blocking them on social media for their vote, which is something that used to be very sacred. But at the end of the day, really think about it. Trump, everybody was upset. Why? Because they found out that he was supported by the KKK. Well, whether you want to hear it or not, you don't even have to dig that deep. So is Biden. And so the trash and the dirt gets really thick. As a matter of fact, there's a commercial out there that my girlfriend was telling me about where there's a video where it's like, we'll settle for Biden. And I'm not getting ready to get into political rant. We're going back to the house nigga, field nigga thing. Just give me a second. But I just want to make sure we understand this. What's the difference? Even though the KKK started with the Democrats, we act like the issues with the Republicans. But honestly, everything that's set up is a jealousy thing. It's a vote thing. It's a property thing. It's a 3/5 of human thing. It's electoral vote thing. If you guys are paying attention inside of the community, it's something else totally different than what you all are thinking about. But really, Democrats have a tendency to be what? At least the way they talk about working hard, respecting the poor, burying the game, raising taxes. That's the basic premise that most of you guys that argue go off of. The Republicans are major capitalists, all about the money, keeping everything with the wealthy. Sound like house nigga, field nigga, right? You know, sounds like you need to be out here in the field with us too, nigga. And you need to get yourself together because we sick, master. You know, and so at the end of the day, the things that we go through, the traumas that we suffer, there is a psychological impact. There is ancestral issues inside of our DNA. And it's not always that simple just to say that I'm going to live my best life and I'm going to shine. Because think about it, when we get out here, we go on this journey, we become entrepreneurs. You know, I get it from both ends. Being that I have my own business and I'm an MLM, what do? We want to share our knowledge and wisdom with people that we care about so that they can know too, so they can get on game. And like, just to make sure this is really clear, I do Forex. How you all think I feel? I want everybody and their mama to start trading. I want everybody and their mama to get in on the game because I know that they're going to take care of their money. This is where, investing, the cash flow quadrant. I want everybody over there with me, right? So what do? I want to pull my people. But what do we usually end up dealing with? We usually end up with people with long sight and short sight. And unfortunately, it feels like there's more of us with short sight. Well, it's not because it feels like it, it's because it is. I mean, like, seriously, some of y'all probably going to get tired of me using this terminology, but how many house niggas could it be? You can't have 20 house niggas. You know what I'm saying? You only need, if you have a big mansion, you might have been like old boy on Django. I might have had you a whole plantation. But still, no matter how many people you had working in the house, serving tea, cleaning the sheets, wearing their little special clean clothes, or like in the movie Life, you looking rather dapper. You looking rather dapper there. You know what I'm saying? There was always 3 to 10 times more people needed in the field to pick the cotton. And so even from that ratio, from that perspective, a lot of you all ain't realizing that you want to shine and you trying to bring your people with you, but they got field nigga mentality and you got house nigga mentality. Now understand, y'all may not like the fact that I'm using this, but when you start doing the deeper inner work that has been haunting you, you start realizing that things mean something different than what you think they mean. Like, for instance, I'm doing a lot of inner work about me and money consciousness. And so the easy way to say it is, what's my money story? When I think about my money story, I think about the first time I hustled. I think about when I made money, even when my family wouldn't support me. But you want to know what came up? I'm going to give you an example of something that came up for me out of the blue that I never realized that it still has a traumatizing effect to me. My mother didn't raise me. She gave me to my grandmother when I was 18 months. But I remember my summer after kindergarten, I went and spent the summer with my mother. One of the most traumatic memories that I have is that her husband at that time had held her down on the floor with her head against the bed and put a shotgun to her head because she asked for money for Pampers. She had just given birth to my baby sister, Alicia. Now, that came from me out of nowhere. I've done some work on it. I need to do some more work on it. But I didn't realize that right there traumatized me from two perspectives: relationships with men and the relationship with money. The need to make sure, because if you guys know August, some of us will call ourselves frugal. August can make some money. August can hold on to some money. And so some people, when they're out there teaching about money mindset and being in flow and not holding on and being able to release, I'm one of them people where sometimes when I could and should probably release, that I don't want to release because I got to make sure that I always got myself covered, because I'll be damned if I ever need anybody who's going to throw it up in my face, torture me, or whatever it is. I don't want to live that thing. That's a memory from when I was 5 years old. And how many of you all know that study this stuff, that they usually say the things that happen from you from 7 and under, they're the most traumatic experiences and they change you. And so here it is, while I'm cleaning out all my stuff and things are changing and things are going good for me, God is like, but if you really want to go to this other level, I got to really let you see yourself. So you may not have liked the analogy that I was using at the beginning, and a lot of you all are here. You might not be able to comment right now. I understand that depending on which device you're listening on, but I hope that you're following me. And so a lot of you, when we think about it as it pertains to Black people, that house nigga, field nigga mentality is something else that keeps us from shining. Because on one hand, we want to shine, but how many times was the one in the house in love with the one with the field? How many times did the person that was in the house have to regroup and get their mind together and justify why they're there and put down the people that are not? Or still have that secret hidden guilt of, am I my brother's keeper? And the mental torment. And so a lot of you that really believe that you're going to be at the top and believe you're going to be the most successful, that you keep on busting through, you keep on doing stuff, you keep on striving as an entrepreneur, but you still keep on hitting the head and then you keep coming down. Your ancestors might have been the house niggas. Like seriously, because there's something inside of you subconsciously that surrenders to self-sabotage that'll let you get successful, but won't let you get too successful. Because if you shine too hard, too strong, too fast, you don't want to deal with the resentment. That's why they talk about the guilt that many of us have when we become successful, and how some of us should separate from some of the people in the hood, like we really should, because of gangs and violence and stuff like that, and we don't. Some of us can take some of those people out with us because they're at an upper level of consciousness, but a lot of us as Black people, we become successful, we still be trying to grab a hold. Why? Because we haven't dealt with that hurt. We haven't dealt with that burden. Y'all, we're going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to deal with it. Because I've seen a lot of people that I'm connected to say, I can't handle another year of Trump. You know what? Well, you better get ready. I hate to tell it to you, but based on the way that things are going, do not let those videos fool you. Don't let those news reports fool you, talking about it looks like Biden is taking a lead. I don't care how ignorant the man acts, Trump is a masterful businessman. See, in your sarcasm, you could talk about how many times he filed bankruptcy, but bankruptcy and bailouts is the game of the corporate monster. You all thinking that he looking stupid, but everything that he did, they know who they put up in place. Do you know that if you do the work and you do the study, and that there are certain things that if they're happening in the financial arena, that it's letting you know that they gonna let the sitting president stay the president? Do you understand that he's going to some of the most vicious battleground states where the electoral college, which will overturn the popular vote if they feel like it, will surrender to him? He's making sure that he's going to the places that Biden is afraid of. And so once again, without getting all political, but if y'all start looking at stuff from a different angle, you're going to realize that you've got to start doing something different. Because I asked the question before, and I'm going to ask the question again. If you do Clinton, if you do Bush, if you do Obama, if you do Trump, like what in your life with any of those presidents really changed? Did you go from a 40-hour week to a 20-hour week? And I'm talking about because they became president. Did all of your debt get eradicated? You know, and I asked this question, and one person was like, well, with Bill Clinton, you know, you got the 3 strikes you out. Yeah, I know. I got a brother that suffered from that 3 strikes you out. But you still not answering my question. What in the world what happened to you? What substantial, significant change that ended up just blessing you, making life easier for you? I don't like the 3 strikes you out rule, but at the end of the day, my brother, he already had about 10 before the 3. Not saying that he had to do. I'm not saying that, but let's just, if we're gonna have the conversations, let's just be real. The hood has still been the hoods. The suburbs have still been the suburbs. Gentrification still been gentrification. You know what I'm saying? Black women still been coming up missing, and we ain't on the back of no milk cartons. You know, that's how I was doing back in the day when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Nothing has truly changed, other than the little stresses of unemployment, housing, interest rates, job market, stuff like that. But when you start realizing that you're playing in a faulty system that has a well-tuned, finely oiled, fully functioning, perfectly operating machine, at some point you do have to say, what am I going to do different? And the two difference that you have to do is start putting yourself in a position where you are more financially empowered. You have got to start taking over your future. And the second thing is to understand that after you've done all that you can do, Listen, this is from what some used to call the advanced mental conditioning specialist, that even after you use all your mind, mental muscle cannot be the answer to how you deal with your past traumas. And you can think with all of your heart that the reason why you're not losing weight, you're not making money, you're suffering in relationships is because of everything else under the sun. But when you start doing that inner work and start looking at that whole little sensitive thing about what happened with the ice cream, then you start realizing that it's worse than you think. And the issue with a lot of us is that we don't really want to do the work surrounding emotional trauma, because a lot of y'all, you think it's emotional trauma has to be, I got raped. Daddy molested me. I was bullied, and beat up in school. But what about when you have issues like me, where you had an auntie where every single time you turned around, she said something to crush your confidence? Like, did you really do that? That was stupid. You don't have no common sense. You're gonna be the kind of woman that needs somebody else's man. You know what? You're gonna grow up, your booty too big. You're gonna end up being fat. All of these different things. Where it seems like it's small, but those are my, as the coach would say, little T traumas instead of big T traumas. So, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Are you gonna get out of this house nigga, field nigga mentality and get into this black brilliance and black excellence and do the work? Because, like the one woman said when I put the post up, she was like, yeah, I've been around a lot of low vibrational people. I don't understand why we don't get away from them, and I don't have the answers. But baby, let me tell you something. You can't get away from low vibrational people because you are still low vibrational people. People that say, why can't you change your circle? When something happens to you and you feel that bust, that was a breakthrough that you had to be around people that were going to pull out something else in you. But the level of discomfort to change, we know what they say. It's easier to embrace the devil that you do know instead of the devil that you don't know. Hello? And so if I get out of the relationship that I have with these people that sometimes get on my nerves, but at least exhibit some behaviors like they still love me, that's better because, I've already been betrayed and I've been hurt, a lot. And if I start messing with these people over here, what is that going to look like? And what if they're more successful than me? And maybe they start looking down on me the way that I also had some ways that I was looking down on the same low vibrational people that I was. Do I need to finish the sentences? And then we end up inside of this ugly monster. So listen, the work has to be done. The work has to be done. The direction has to change. You're going to have to empower yourself financially. You really, really are. For those of you all that are like, what in the world is going on with August? What in the world is she doing? Listen, if you want to understand how to invest, if you want to understand how to change the trajectory of your life, if you want your business to be on point, if you want to start saying, wait a minute, I've done all the work, I've become a good steward, I save, I contribute, I do all these things, but I still got money blocks and I want August to help me, then just reach out to me. Message me and we will go from there. If that's your nugget for today, that's your thing that I want you to think about. And I love y'all, and I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm gonna give a little snippet of this to Facebook. How about that? I give them a snippet. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.